Okay, now time for newspaper review. Bayo is not here today again, so Kinsley and I will be doing today's review. And let's begin with the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper, above the nameplate, Sultan laments inaction on security plans. Only politicians can't go home. The stories are on page 4. Scores feared killed in Kebbi ferry accident. President sad. The story is also on page 4. Naira crashes to 493 naira per dollar in parallel market. Troops bust Boko Haram warehouse in Yobe. The story is on pages 4 and 2. Now, the lead story this morning on the Nation newspaper, Constitution, State Police, Power Devolution, top talks. With riders, settler indigenship request in Plateau, Gombe, Borno, Yobe reject State Police. North, South, Kaduna asks for different states. Lagos seeks special status. All right. Here, Buhari not against open grazing ban, says the presidency. Story is on page 4. Now, at the foot of the Nation newspaper, why NYSC should not be scrapped by federal government is on page 3. Bread price to go up. It's on page 25 of the Nation newspaper. Now, Kinsley.
All right, Kira, the story you read about the boat mishap in Kebbi is the lead for the Daily Trust newspaper. And the Daily Trust says 154 feared dead in Kebbi boat mishap. And there are 4 riders to that, 180 on board. Accident caused by overloading, that's according to NIWA, which is the Inland Waterways Authority. Local divers on rescue mission. And President Buhari, of course, is quoted there saying that the mishap is devastating. And you can see the photographs on the front page there of the first responders evacuating dead bodies after the boat capsized yesterday in Kebbi. Perhaps there's more details about the incident that occurred. Now, the incident is said to have happened in Gaski local government area of Kebbi. This was at about 10 in the morning yesterday. And that apart from the persons who were on board, the wooden boat, you said a ferry, but this was I say the boat. I'm just wondering how a wooden boat can convey 180 people on that waterway. And then also had on it bags of sand for gold miners, as well as motorcycles and other equipment, as the locals were heading to a local market. As I said here, the boat had some 30 motorcycles, and it's pretty sad that this incident has occurred. And if nearly 24 hours later they haven't been able to rescue any more of the persons who were on board that inflated boat or ferry, then obviously this probably would not be a salvage mission, Kieran.
See, it's simply overloading. That's just the question. And again, who should be responsible for determining the extent of load that a boat or ferry, or whatever it is, can have at a particular point in time? Now it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Perhaps people are going to their various businesses, different locations of Kebbi State, and look at what has happened. All right, and it also serves as a lesson to other persons, not just a boat, but even vehicles are pretty overloaded, and it's common sense, Kinsley. I mean, you should be able to know what you can take and what you cannot take.
You cannot take. That's the report here by Daily Trust is quoting the area manager of NIWA, who is at Yauri in Kebbi State, Yusuf Burma, saying that overloading was the most likely cause of the accident, and that the boat itself is weak. In his words, the boat involved is a wooden boat which is old and very weak, But these people will not listen when we speak to them to reduce the number of passengers they carry.
The passengers themselves. You want to board a boat and you know that it's overloaded and you're a passenger, nobody forced you into the boat.
Absolutely,
nobody forced you.
Absolutely.
You know, just like sometimes we're in a hurry to get to where we want to get. Everybody's in a hurry right now. And we just got into the boat knowing full well that it's overloaded.
Yeah, but it requires a great deal of public enlightenment amongst the locals who use the waterways as their access routes to various locations that they get to. This is it's a big loss. Over 150 persons, who have passed on. Let's take a look at the other headlines. Above the lead story, but below the nameplate, says Constitution Review, discordant tunes as governors unveil agenda. That's page 32. Bakers hike bread and biscuits prices by 30% nationwide. Soldiers chase EFCC operatives from marking ONSA directors' forfeited assets. That ONSA stands for Office of National Security Advisor. You have details of that on page 29. And then other headlines on the front page, 100 students collapse after inhaling fumigation chemicals in Ekiti. Don't legalize cannabis, NDLEA cautions lawmakers. Kira, you recall we discussed this. I don't know whether you and I were on set. Maybe it was Bayo who was around. There was an announcement by the spokesperson of the House of Reps, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, that the House would take steps to legalize cannabis because of the medicinal uses to which cannabis is being put, on the one hand, in advanced countries and other derivatives from cannabis itself. And this is not to say you're legalizing it for everyone to be puffing on the street, but to seek to maximize the economic benefits from that. But the NDLEA chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, is saying if you did, then of course you'll be having many junkies all over the place.
Well, the medicinal value of marijuana, it could be tapped, intelligently. In other climes, like in America, in some states in America, it's legalized. Some of them have also been, formed into medications that you can buy off the shelf, right? If you have the prescription to buy them. So we can make use of that positively, but not necessarily to allow people to puff on the street, freely and stuff like that.
I recall saying on that occasion that as part of what Honorable Benjamin Kalu said, that there are many more uses of Indian hemp, as it is called, other than just smoking and getting mad. It's used in the cosmetics industry, for instance.
Exactly.
It's also used in the pharmaceutical industry.
Exactly.
And the key point is as follows. If it has been legalized in other jurisdictions, and those jurisdictions where it has been legalized, and they are sourcing for it, again, the point to be made is, I understand, I've never tested it, that the cannabis we have around in a part of the world is very potent. So how do you regulate the cultivation, and marketing and export of this particular product? Let's face it. I mean, cannabis.
Licensing.
That's right. That's right. You can get them organized to say that it's prohibited. So just do away with it. If there are economic benefits, you get around it. It's a controlled substance.
Exactly.
Yes.
In Nigeria. The difficulty in controlling it will be it will hit us, so negatively, because many youths in this country will go for it. Even today in Nigeria, in some places, you see people smoking their freely till late.
Well, Kira, I think maybe a differentiation. I mean, I'm not an advocate of Indian hemp, by the way, but I'm just saying a differentiation could be made for the cultivation and marketing, cultivation and sale, for industrial purposes, versus smoking. There is a subsisting ban on smoking in public places in the country, to say that you can retain the ban on the consumption of cannabis by way of smoking in public. As I said, it's just for the economic argument that has come up. Let's take a look at the other headlines very quickly. Children's Day, many questions, few answers on children's rights. Today is Children's Day, and of course that was a day that the administration of General Yakubu Gowon initiated as part of the ways of recognizing the value of children in our society. Buhari raises alarm, says insecurity rocking Nigeria's foundation. 3 riders to that headline. Enough of talks without action. That's according to the Sultan. We are at a crossroads, as Senate President Lawan, our country under attacks. Bajabi Amila, Speaker of the House.
You know, Kisley, on this issue of insecurity, a lot has been said. We've been talking. I watched the All-New of Ife, making his own contribution yesterday, and he made it so clear that it will be, well, permitting to use that word, it will be idiotic, for us to be assembling ourselves, discussing one item year after year, and no action is taken. Right, and he made it clear that if we continue to rigmarole, on this matter, then the issue of insecurity will rise. Right, there's no action, that is commensurate with the level of crime that is being committed in this country on a daily basis. Right, so the idea is that some persons have also said that, look, if the police cannot investigate and find out the root cause of even the most current one, which is burning down police stations, killing police personnel, then the country is doomed. If the police cannot do that, to find out those responsible for burning down police stations and attacking policemen themselves, and if policemen are attacked, like we said yesterday, it's an attack on the nation.
That's true.
That's
true. And as we also cited a report by This Day on Sunday, in 4 months, the country has lost 340 security personnel to armed attacks.
When we are also under-policed, and we are losing the ones that are already
precisely
in service.
already in service. It's a pertinent point. I think that what His Majesty, the Onion of Ife, raised is also a very valuable issue. Sometimes, if not most of the time, everything is just about talking.
Having seminars, conferences.
Seminars, workshops. What are the action points? And if there are action points, who is supposed to take the action and when? We never return to this. I made mention of some conference that, it was a summit also, 20 years ago at the International Conference Center, ahead of the 2003 general elections. It was a conference on security, to avert political crisis, thuggery, and so on and so forth, because there were a lot of assassinations at the time that were going on. The conference took place, I remember, 2001. But go and check the amount of bloodletting that went on after that particular summit. And then, of course, throughout the 2003 elections. We cannot just be talking all the time. Sometimes we are unable to, Kirian, return to the resolutions and recommendations of previous gatherings, whether summits, conferences, workshops. So every person comes, it's like a tabula rasa.
Exactly, and people make money out of it too. For instance, look at what you're about.
I wouldn't know, Kira, but
the idea is that by the time you bring people together, money is being expended. There are no two ways about it. You pay for their flight tickets, you pay for their hotel accommodation, you pay allowances for all those compensations that they're going to have for days. After that, everything is packaged, distributed, and kept in the shelf.
And then sometimes I've witnessed a number of these gatherings. Sometimes the procedure is just academic. Somebody will tell you root causes of insecurity. Then you will be atomizing the issues.
That's a lecture.
Why have we failed, as you have said, why have we failed to fully grasp or understand what is happening in the Southeast?
Unknown gunmen.
What is an unknown gunman?
It's not understandable.
I don't know. If it's a matter of procuring equipment, why have we failed to procure the right equipment? In an age of ICT, or who should we go to get the equipment for us?
You can even apply CCTV in all police stations in this country, so that we begin to track those elements who are responsible for this.
Yeah, so they finish talking, everybody goes home, and then you don't watch out in the media. 2-3 weeks later, you'll be seeing reports again more incidents of crime and criminality. In the meantime, those who are protecting VIPs, their numbers have increased, obviously, because of the level of insecurity. They want to go from here to their washroom, not, a security man will follow them. They want to go from here to their in-laws' place, a security person will follow them. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Kieran, one other point, if you recall yesterday, you wanted to go to another, we raised this issue yesterday about the Ibori assets that have been recovered from the UK. And you know, the Accountant General of the Federation was reported as saying before a House committee that the money had now been credited to the Delta State government's account. Delta State government is saying it hasn't received the money. The headline is there on page 5 of Daily Trust. Says 4.2 million pound Ibori loot not yet returned to Delta, and that's Accountant General recounting. It says there are still some processes to work out.
Exactly. Now, look at this issue of constitutional review. You know, issues arising. State police, power devolution, top talks, you know, and then different states have different opinions to that. Plateau, Gombe, Borno, Yobe reject state police. The north, the south, Kaduna asks for different states. Lagos seeks special status. You know, this constitutional review, Kingsley, in my opinion, you know, could be another round of talks that maybe perhaps at some point articulated and never implemented. We had a such conference, you know, in 2014, you know, when a good number of 1 million Nigerians were gathered together here in Abuja, and they deliberated on this country and issues concerning insecurity and what have you. Today, what has been articulated is now in the shelf. Nobody is addressing it. I don't know, this issue of a constitutional review, how far it will take this nation in terms of resolving some of the issues. And we have had discussions on this program where we say, look, that the law is not the problem, but it is the implementation of the law. Not necessarily that we don't have laws in this country, but how do we get these laws implemented? At point of implementation, we fail most of the time.
Well, Kieran, the point you made is noted. We raised this with the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media while we were discussing the issues around the constitutional review. He said, he joined us via Zoom from Osogbo, that what they have done is to synthesize the recommendations and reports from a plethora of previous efforts. And then, of course, they have distilled them, they have that. But my point was, I mean, when I was seeking to interrogate the issue for that was, if you have done that, then why is it that in the public hearing that the Senate is organizing in the geopolitical zones, you now expect people to bring their memoranda fresh? We could very well have had an executive summary, just a 2-page document, not more, no more. You say, look, this is what we have distilled from, including the one you just talked about, the 2014 National Constitutional Conference, and all others. The National Assembly itself, Ekweremadu had previously headed one in one of the previous exercises. All of them, just distill them and say, these are the matters that we want to focus on at this time. If your matter is here, don't raise it. If it is not here, raise it. So that you don't have all these papers that will now be submitted, you'll be applying through them. Like what the governor of Lagos State said, create a special economic status for Lagos. The governor is restating the point that has been on the table for a long period of time.
Exactly.
You know, so that we don't keep, as you say, we don't keep going back and forth. Before you know it, it's 2022, and then everybody will be saying
election,
party primaries, party primaries, which is what the editorial of the point is referring to at page 22. It says, eliminating threats to the 2023 elections. It's drawing attention to the fact that a critical document relating to the conduct of the elections are coming up in less than 20 months' time, and to say, look, are we working on reforming the Electoral Act?
And besides that, so many INEC offices have been burnt down in all parts of the country. More than 400 of them have been burned down in all parts of the country, and it is still continuing. So how prepared are we?
Not up to 400.
It is up to 4. If you check it, it didn't start today. It didn't start recently.
No,
it didn't start now.
Kieran, let's not 24. 24. Unless you are
the
aware.
Current ones we're talking about. Yes. There are previous ones before now.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. But certainly, even if it is one, it's costly to replace.
Exactly.
That's right.
So the only costly to replace not just the infrastructure, Oh, well, sorry, the structure, the building per se. All of the card readers.
The documents and other equipment
The
that
cards, exactly.
they need to use there. So, Kieran, I think we call it time on Newspaper Review this morning. And, of course, so we're going to take a short break.
My name is Kieran Meyer. Have a great day.
And I'm Kingsley Osadola. To take care of yourself.